Hello, legends. Welcome to Draw a Dragon Day 2. Yep, this is Day 2. We are going to go through drawing another dragon. This time our dragon is going to be coming at us from the front. So, the last video we had a little fella and he kind of like looked something like this on the side. Wow, dragon. We love it. We love being a dragon. We're happy. So today we are going to do a dragon on the front. Yes, the front. That's what I said. And specifically, we're going to be drawing this dragon. Woohoo! Dragon from the front. All right, let's get into it. Oops. So, to make life easier, with your piece of paper, your iPad, your drawing screen of whatever kind you're using, you can start by making this little, like, I don't know, grid thing. It just helps get your eye in for the shape so you don't end up with a super wonky dragon. And one thing I am going to do, and if you're using pencil, you can do, like, just a really light schemazzle. I'm just going to do a little line. If you're on iPad, hold it down and then it goes all straight like that. Now, that is helpful because if we're drawing a dragon from the front on, we want some symmetry. I'm not going to cheat today and use the symmetry feature in iPad, which kind of just automatically draws the other half for you as you go. I'm not going to do that because some of you are probably on paper and can't do that. So it's going to pop back over to the layer that does not have the lines on it. Again, if you're using pencil, just keep those lines light and it shouldn't interfere too much with your drawing experience. Okay, so dragon. I'm going to start with a circle for the head up the top. Love it. We've got the neck, which is going to follow our middle line, which is great. I'm going to come to about here. So remember, we're going to have the feetsies all the way down there. We want the chest and like the front arms and stuff to do different things, right? We don't want to get our proportions too far out, but hey, it's a dragon. It can kind of look how you want. So neck. Next thing we're going to do is kind of take this spot here, which is where the neck will connect with the body, and we're going to go kind of diagonally out. Now, again, I got my little grid here behind me. You could kind of think of it as like another half circle or so, kind of between your head. You could kind of stop there. That's one way of kind of keeping it in proportion. And then I'm going to go kind of down a little bit each side, and then up a little bit each side. There we go. Now, why this shape? Well, I am not an anatomy expert, but I am kind of picturing a collarbone happening somewhere around here, and I want the shoulders. I know that they're going to come down. There'll be an L, like a leg out and stuff like that. So I'm looking for those points where things might connect. But we're just going to go through in basic shapes for now. So let's get some arms going in. So we've got shoulder point. We're going to go out to an L down here. Little circle for the elbow, and down here, little circle for the wrist, and then I'm just going to kind of go to the floor in like a wide triangle. And to repeat that on the other side, using these grid lines to help. You could use a ruler potentially if you're on paper. It might take a little longer, but that's what traditional art is all about. It's about patience. Digital art just speeds things up. Doesn't necessarily mean everything's better. Okay, now what am I doing here? I am faffing. I am trying to figure out if that's a good idea or not. Don't copy that. Not yet, anyway. Okie dokie. We want wings. Do we want wings? Actually, you know what? I think we do what I just did. So, if we're looking at the front, what's a good example? Let's just come across to the side for a second. So if we've got our little leggies that are going to come down and start looking like this eventually, right? We've got the shoulders kind of coming in like that. And there'll be like a breastbone and all of these muscles that come under there, because we do want our dragon. So just follow the line of that right around. And then you've got the wings. So those are sort of those wing muscles I'm kind of picturing there as well. And then if you're thinking about that collarbone I mentioned earlier, it could manifest in a few ways. It could be down here, down the bottom. If you're looking at the breastbone of like a bird to attach wing muscles to, maybe it comes up like that. And now we're looking a little bit messy, but hey, it's cool. It's cool. So we're going to try and keep our simple shapes following those sorts of principles though. So, wing shoulder, boop, and wing shoulder, boop. I'm going to go out and up, and then we've got our wing elbow, so out and up, wing elbow, and then up again. Keep a little bit of an angle at it. And then up to the hand, the wing hand, and then you've got kind of your thumb circle. So circle and then triangle for your thumb, circle and then triangle for your thumb. All right, we have a wireframe of a dragon. Okay, we're going to come back down to the body. So we've got that front chest. Now, if we're looking full on, you will have, if maybe it'll help if I do this actually, and you can just get a dragon from the side to sort of see. Oh, I should move that across. Okay, dragon from the side to sort of see. Dragon. Hi, bigger dragon that's not finished drawing yet. Okay, smoky. This might help. So, we've got, if we're looking at it front on, we've got that barrel of the chest kind of coming down. And then you've got your little ankles of the back legs. Now, I'm picturing that the front of the dragon here, is wider than the back of the dragon. Why? Because wing muscles, big barrel chest, that sort of juby. So if that's wider and we've got a big barrel chest, then I want to take from these, I don't know, what you might call them, shouldery, jointy bits, and we're going to go down and up. Now we're starting to look at that barrel chest going on, and if we've got our back knees, and back over to here, back knees and then little thingies, so I'm going to go, I'm going to go down to a back knee, down to a back knee, too far in, so we're losing our symmetry there, at the back knee, and then that goes kind of back to the ankle, and then down to that back foot business. Yeah, hopefully that looks all right on yours. Cool. Sweet. Dragon wireframe coming along. Let's get those wings finished, shall we? Scrub out this example dragon. Line that back up. Now, I'm going with something fairly simple here, because I'm not jumping into too much perspective issues right now. So if this dragon, let's see if I can, oh my gosh, even keep what I just did even remotely. Nope, that doesn't look the same at all. Yep, forever the struggle. I mean, to be fair, the wing is not the same either on both sides right now. So circle, thumb circle, triangle, wing finger, and then little wing finger bend, wing finger bend, wing finger bend, and again, and then down, again. So 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers and a thumb. That's what we want. Now, what I meant by, I'm going to fix this the easy way. What I meant by, what am I saying? Oh yeah, what I meant by perspective with this now is that it can be interesting, so to try and describe. Wow, maybe I should just keep a side-on dragon the whole video through, because this is now getting a bit ridiculous. So if for us to see like the tips of the wings, it does mean that the dragon's wings, if on a side-on view, can't just be straight up on their body. So got a little down here, down we go. Just try again. I'm a dragon from the front view. So it means that if the wings were straight back, like that little guy up there, then you would probably see that. super not much to see from a front view. Super valid way to do it. But for a little bit of pizzazz, I'm angling the wings forward so that you're seeing some wing membrane in your drawing. Okay, lots of nerdy reasons for why we're doing things out the way. Back over to our wireframe. So, that is why they are like that. Okay, we should probably do some kind of neck face stuff real quick. So I do have a wonky circle. You can see that is not remotely equal. So I'm going to just try that again. See, now we're kind of a bit more... All right. So if the dragon is looking straight at us, we have that same problem again. So if we just come over here, draw a circle. If the dragon is looking dead at us versus if the dragon is looking down, we're going to get different things. So if the dragon is looking slightly down, which is this circle down the bottom here, then its nose will be more visible and its eyes will look a bit different as well. References for this sort of thing: crocodiles, dogs, cats, even if you want to go kind of toothlessy. And then you can fill around and the dragon might be looking slightly up. If the dragon's looking straight on, then you, again, dogs, cats, anything like that, totally valid. But you're looking at these shapes of the nose coming in. You're not seeing the bridge of the nose that we have down here because it's obstructed, because the actual top of the nose is in the way. And then the eyes will be kind of more, well, depending how they sit in your dragon's head, but in this case, they'll be a little bit more like, I don't know, orbs that you're only seeing an actual little bit of, as opposed to more of. So, I think for the purposes of today, this front-on one, which you can see how I've done it, so perhaps you can honestly kind of choose. You don't have to copy which one I've done now because you've seen both different ways. So that's looking straight up and then that's looking down. You'll see more horns and stuff like that. So wow, we've got options. Oh, there you go. You can see them all at once. Kind of, sort of. There you go. So I want a slightly serious looking dragon kind of staring down the barrel at you. So I'm going to kind of go for option 2 down the bottom there. So to start off that, we've got the basic circle. We want the nose to come down. So I'm going to just take that from the edges, draw a bit of a angled box looking shape. And now we want the neck. So I'm just going to keep this in line with the grid for the moment. Fill out the neck. Now, last tutorial, I drew my dragon's head too small. No, too big. Now I'm worried it's too small. So what is this line? This line is doing a bit of a half-halfer actually between these two. So if that's looking all the way up and that's looking all the way down, I am now doing a half-half. So that's where we've got that extra line coming in halfway through the nose that we just drew, and it's saying, hey, this is where the mouth is. So cool, that's where the mouth is, which now means kind of where the bottom of this circle is. I'm going to draw some nostrils and just give them some eyebrows because we can. And now I'm going to take the edges here and I'm just going to do a bit of a triangle up to the middle of the circle, and we've kind of defined the muzzle of our dragon that way. Right, now they need a bit of chin, I suppose, like jaw, because dragon's good at biting. So I'm just going to go kind of where these nostrils are and go out a bit, and then I'm going to go up and around and up. So it's kind of defining like the bottom of your jaw, the bottom of your cheek sort of area. And then I'm going to go out again, just up to the top here. Now I have a thought that that's going to be where a horn connects. So that's, it exists for a reason. All right, eyeballs. We just give a little eyeballs and look, he's happy. No, but drawing circles can help because it lets you define the shape of where the eye's sitting, and then you can kind of work around that. So I'm going to just come back in and sort of give them a bit more shape. I've turned them from circles into sort of pointy-ended ovals. All right. And now I'm going to follow this middle bit here between the eyes, and I'm just going to follow that in a bit of a wannabe kind of eyebrow situation. He does look a little freaky right now, so I think it is time to address the fact that maybe my approach wasn't the best. See, there's a razor's little eyes. But we know what we want to do, so I'm just going to give it another shot. So these eye shapes are kind of almonds, which is a good way of looking at it at the moment. Almond-shaped eyes. All right, I did make my brush a bit smaller. And the eyebrows, you can go for expressions here if you're feeling confident. All right, and that is coming up. What am I doing here at the top? I think I'm drawing a spike. Ooh, dragon has spike. All right, horns. They kind of look cool as they are. I might just curve them round to the back, try and keep them equal again, so symmetrical, and down. Kind of aligning their pointy bits with the top of that spike, which is just a nice way of trying to keep everything consistent. Right. We have started to fill in our dragon. So the neck. Like the last dragon, we want to start a little bit narrower and work our way out down to the base. Okie schmoky. Now we've got all this stuff going on and we have to figure out what is going on around it. So last tutorial, I actually made another layer, and on that other layer, I made all of this jazz a bit more transparent and harder to see. I haven't done that today, so I'm going to grab my eraser, put its opacity right down, and just do that in the same way if you were using paper. You can like softly erase over your wireframe and just leave the lines visible but not completely gone, so you can keep following them but your new marks will be easier to see, and that is what I am doing here. Brilliant. I think that's enough. So dragon. All right, so wing. I'm going to follow this just down for the moment to the edge there, to the edge there. I think he's got quite wide shoulders. This is a buff dragon. All right, down, following that around. So this is the bit where we hit the arm and sort of that front on shoulder stuff. So, you know what? He might actually just have tiny legs. Oh, who cares? Following that down to the elbow. Following that around that curve. So we're adding substance, right? So don't stick too close. Like put your wireframe in the middle and let that hit the curve and go down. So outside of the wireframe edges, follow that bump and then down, follow that bump again and then out. So down and down, follow around and out and out. Very good. And I'm just going to connect that one up like I did here. Now, we just finish off connecting up his belly. That seems a bit off, doesn't it? I'm just going to erase that. I'm going to come and address where these legs are connecting to the body. So we do need some strength going on, don't we? So, because this will connect, boop, and then we want that stomach coming down where that line was before. There we go. All right, and now we've got back knee, so following that circle down at the back here, and then connecting that down to, again, that little ankle bit, and then following our triangles out. And around and following the triangles out. Cool. We're still missing a few details there, but we've got the overall shape now outlined. Let's get those wings done as well. So we're going to follow again like we did with the front legs, either side of the wireframe, following that circle around the elbow, up to the hand. So we've got the hand, and that was our little thumb circle, and then our spiky triangle. So thumb circle, spiky triangle, and then out this way, down one wing finger, and we're filling that out again, so triangle at the very end, and then where there's a bend, if you pretend there was a little circle to follow as well, you can kind of show those finger knuckles, and then boop, boop, and doing all that. So we're just going to keep on with this tricky business all the way down. Just like human fingers have kind of, I guess, two knuckles and then the tip, that's kind of what we're following here as well. Do, do, and all the way up. I've gone sideways again. All right, we are going to repeat now for the other side. Do, 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 do. Around and around, up, up. All right, so following that around, spike goes up. Follow the thumb around, okie dokie, and then I mean, you can definitely turn the canvas or page you're using as well to help get these lines a bit smoother. So I'm turning them because the angle I move my hand is a lot easier in like specific directions. So if I was trying to draw these wing fingers and it was still all the way straight up, the way that I move my hand is different. And sometimes it's a lot harder to keep smooth lines from a specific direction. So moving your piece of paper and stuff around can be really helpful. Okie dokie. I think we'll erase these guys now. Dip-a-boo. There we are. We have the front of a dragon. Now, the front of our dragon is missing some things like wing membranes and some claws, things like that. So let's start with the wing membranes, I reckon. So because it's something I like to do, I'm going to start with the wing whoops, that's not erase the dragon. I'm going to start with the wing membrane that goes kind of in the elbow spot here. Now this is up to you, it's a personal preference. If you don't want that there, you don't have to put it there. It's something I like to do. It's something you kind of see, I don't know, you kind of see it in chickens, funnily enough. So like in like the chicken wing, you kind of get that little like bit there. And then, well, I like to have that membrane obvious as well. So we're just gonna now, in big curvy motions, like that, just like happy little eyes, we now connect each of those and connect down there. Connect just above the elbow. So broadly you're connecting each of these to the tips, but depending on like angles and things, sometimes they kind of look like they don't go all the way. Lots of different reasons for that. It might be a mistake, it might be an angle of the wing thing, it might be the actual makeup of the wing on your dragon. So there you go. Cool. Now you can see neither of these wings are specifically symmetrical right now. I'm just going to fix that a little bit. So that's going to about there, so put that there, and then we need a bit of a thicker, just needed a bit of a thicker wing going on, hey, on this side. Kind of a weak wing. All right, boom. Something of a dragon. All right, needs claws. Dragon needs some claws. Down we go. These little feetsies. So, let's see. If we're looking at, I don't know, lizardy claws or whatever, I like to break them down into circles. Small circle, big circle, small circle, big circle, small circle, big circle, big circle. Now, you do want to pay attention to the fact that, like, human hands are, like, still pretty good references, even if they're not that accurately demonic. But we've always got different length, different length fingers. And so too do lizards, and so too do dogs and cats and stuff. So I'm going to start with this circle here. I'm going to get a bigger one and another bigger one next to each other, and then a little one. So pointing finger, middle finger, little finger. That's basically how we've gone ahead. So pointy finger on this side, middle finger, little finger. And then these little lines that aren't really making much sense because we're so zoomed in, they're your claws. And you can do the same on the back legs. So little finger, or little toe, I guess. Or big toe even. Depends if you're doing like paws or not. So toe, toe, toe. Little bigger. You could do a dew claw. So like something that curves further up the foot. And boom, now we're just missing a tail. Now, again, because we're looking front on, if the tail was straight out behind our dragon, we would not be able to see it, just because that is how physics works. But if we want to have it curl around, you can sort of just draw a curve like that, and you can have it be visible. I'm not super sold that that's the best way to go about it. I might just try for a gentle little curve like that. But you could certainly experiment with how you want your tail to pose out. Ooh, look, it's those Rip Curl logos again. There you go. All right. Yes, more spikes. Dragons always need spikes. So we could do those same little Rip Curly, oceany spikes up here on the face. Suddenly looking a little bit more serious there, aren't we? We could draw them a little bit more angled. We could draw more fishy ones. I liked the curvy one idea. Is that any better? I'm not sure. It's up to us. We get to choose how we want our dragon spikes to be, or not to be. I think he does need some, though. Here we go. Maybe flat and then curve back. Cool. All right. Now let's give him some him. Yes, I've already gendered my dragon. This is a him. So we're going to go some underbelly-like scales. So first of all, I'm just going to delineate the underbelly, I guess, from like the rest of the dragon, the top part of the dragon. So I'm going to kind of follow down, a bit of an angle down towards the chest. And then as we hit the chest, we billow out. Again, trying to keep it symmetrical. And then as we figure out where these armpits are going, right, we come back in. And then we can now look at, if we want like your classic, I'm going to come over here again to demonstrate on a side view because, wow, they're so helpful. So side view of a dragon. And we're doing that delineation again. So again, those sorts of triangular plates, you can do like that. If we're doing a bit more of a, I guess, a 3D one, we have our dragon, we go around, and then they go like that. Kind of like spikier. I don't know. How do we describe that? Squish Rip Curls. So anyway, back over to our neck and just add a V shape. Basically just some wide V's all the way down. And just trying to make sure that they start and finish equal to each other on the same side. And some things I think about when I do this is the shape of the dragon's body. I'm not always like accurate with it because I'm not the best artist ever. But you kind of want to respect the different shape, the different like contours that these scales would be following. And then I'm just going to go all the way down to that tail at the back and just fill in those little V shapes as well. And now that it's side on, as it turns away from the body, you can get away with the little, just those little lines. Right, maybe some shoulder scales might add some stuff. So by shoulder scales, I'm kind of talking about this area. So I'm just gonna think about, what way do I want them to go? Up or down? We'll go down. So it's triangle, and then from the tip of the triangle you kind of go sideways and sideways, and then you make another little triangle from that, and then from the tip of the triangle you go sideways and sideways, another little triangle, sideways, sideways. We're following around the arm, sideways, 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 sideways. Wow, we've got a few little scales. So tip of the triangle, sideways, make another triangle, sideways, make another triangle, sideways. We've got some scales. Yeah, they're pretty basic. I don't know if he looks as good as yesterday's dragon, but there you go, folks. We have ourselves some form of front-facing dragon, and I hope you were able to follow along pretty easily. We will get better at these as we go. I will get better at doing the tutorials, and if you're following along and you're drawing a dragon every day, then I can guarantee you are going to get better at dragons. If you liked this tutorial, please like the video and subscribe. If you drew a dragon, please feel free to hit me up on Karakganzi over on Instagram. I would love to see your work. I would love to see your dragons. Yeah, front-facing dragon. There we go. Have a lovely, lovely, spiffing, wonderful day. Bye.